Nietzsche, talking about the European state of mind at the end of the 19th century. So Nietzsche says, well, we're in this terrible situation, right? God is dead, we've killed him. What does that mean? Well, we've taken our evolved metaphysics, which structures our moral viewpoint, and undermined it by rational criticism, a peculiar move philosophically, because it was never established on rational grounds anyways. We've undermined it rationally and replaced it with, well, nothing. Nothing. What's the consequence of that? Well, he outlines that here. Of what is great, one must either be silent or speak with greatness. And you can think about this as a prophecy on the events of World War I and World War II and the Gulag Archipelago and the 60 million people dead in the Soviet Union and the whole unfolding of 20th century history and the great ideological battles that characterized that unfolding. So this is something Nietzsche sees coming and knows why. He says, of what is great, one must either be silent or speak with greatness. With greatness. That means cynically and with innocence. What I relate is the history of the next 2 centuries. I describe what is coming, what can no longer come differently. The advent of nihilism, right? The belief in nothing. Our whole European culture is moving for some time now with a tortured tension that's growing from decade to decade as towards a catastrophe. Restlessly, violently, headlong, like a river that wants to reach the end, that no longer reflects. It's afraid to reflect. He that speaks here has, conversely, done nothing so far but to reflect, as a philosopher and solitary by instinct, who has found his advantage in standing aside, outside. Why has the advent of nihilism become necessary? Well, because the values we've had hitherto thus draw their final consequence. Because nihilism represents the ultimate logical conclusion of our great values and ideals. Because we must experience nihilism before we can find out what value these values really had. We require at some time new values. Nihilism stands at the door. Whence comes this uncanniest of all guests? Nihilism, right? Your beliefs are undermined once? What's the consequence of that? Well, one consequence is the belief is undermined. The other consequence is more metaphysical, which is fooled once, you no longer have the belief. But maybe it's even worse than that, because human beings can generalize. Fooled once, you no longer have any belief in beliefs, which means you say something like this: I don't care what you think. It doesn't matter what you think. The world is such a terrible place that no interpretation whatsoever can possibly suffice. That's nihilism. No meaning system whatsoever can possibly suffice. Well, what's the flaw? Well, the flaw is, well, of course no system of coherent belief can suffice, because most of the world's transcendent. You can't encapsulate everything that is in your sphere of belief. And what you might say then is that if you ever believed that what you believe is what should support you, the facts you know say, or the interpretation you place in the world, then your faith is badly misplaced. You don't believe in what you believe. You believe in something that's deeper than that.